All right, here I am with the promised short, brief instructional video on a resource um, associated with Google for Education, G Suite for Education. We are looking at Google Drawings, so I'll try to keep it really brief. There is no skills uh, on the checklist for the Google for Education Level 1 certification exam. Um, it's not going to play a major part in this, but I want you to be fully aware. So let me go straight to the My Drive application of Google for Education or the G Suite account overall. The easiest way to access drawings would be by clicking on New in your drive. That would be on the left upper corner. You click on New, and you're going from there. You'll actually choose More, and Google Drawings will open up, and go ahead and choose Google Drawings to move forward. Once Google Drawings opens, it will pretty much give you a um, blank slate. If you're not familiar with this particular format, usually PNG or vector are the formats that have this checkerboard grayed out background, which basically means that it's capable of being a blank background, similar to people creating their logo. A logo, I'll give you an example, and let's just name this sample. Can remember to name your various documents or drawings or slides so they will not get lost in the mix. So I'll just do something really simple, and I want to insert something that's already available to me. So I'll search the web, which basically pulls up the panel on the right hand side, and I will look for a Google logo. Say Google, look for the Google Drawings logo. And if you want to be specific, you can either add transparent or PNG, but I'll just try and see. And this is a trial and error situation here. So I'm looking for the transparent that's already available. This is the symbol for Google Drawings. And you can either pull it over and insert it where you like. That's option number one, or you can click on it and it'll pop up on the bottom where it asks for if you like to insert, and it will also pull up over here. So I have to, why not just play with it a little bit. So you can of course expand it, you can make it short and fat, which distorts it, and you wouldn't want that, but it basically allows for you to manipulate it to what you really need. And then you notice that the gray white checkered area is still available for you to see, which basically means if you add something else to it, it will give you a blank background. Now, if you choose to have a background color, which is fairly simple, you can either right click, and then choose your background color. That would be an option, or you can choose not to have a background color, especially if you're trying to insert it in a document as a logo or something to that nature. You are trying to do an activity that calls for some type of logo. And I'm just going to get rid of the background. Another way to get to the background color, and this is the same in all Google applications that have a format that allows for you to choose a background. You can click on File, go down, and let me erase this from my recording option. So we're going all the way down to the page setup, and once you get into the page setup, once again, well, I did not tell the truth. So in this particular situation, the only way you can format the background is through the first option I gave you, which was basically the right click. Okay, so I retract that. You have an option to choose the size of your page as well as a custom, and I'll just leave it the way it is for the moment. Let me look at the format right here. So formatting does not allow background. So Once again, the only way to change the background would be by you right clicking and choosing it that way. You can choose a gradient, which allows for you to have various shades that are going from the center lighter to the outside darker, but that's something that you should go ahead and play with at your own discretion. Okay, so I'll take that back away. It also gives you an opportunity to insert text. You can insert word art, which most people use. The word art is what I usually use, and I'll just say I'm making a Google Drawings flyer or a class on Google Drawings, a session on Google Drawings, and I want it to be a little different. So keep in mind that if you're typing in this across, then it will pop up just across. You will not be able to shift down once you've created that until you go back into it. Let me show you exactly what I'm referring to. So Google Drawings will pop up like this, and you can also manipulate it to have whatever you need it. Let me get rid of one. Right click and then you cut it. So I want this overlap. I want it to be a different color, and you can change your color. So this is similar with most Google applications that you can insert a word art, not all of them, but most. So that's just something that you should play with to familiarize yourself. You can make it overlap. You can bring it to the front, which is already to the front, or you can go and put it to the back, which would really defeat the purpose because you can't see the letter, but you see how the lettering is behind the actual icon. So I'm bringing it back to the front. But as I referred earlier, if you wanted the Google to be on one line, drawings on the other, you can't just click on here and hit shift and it'll drop down to the next line. You'll have to open it back up and hit shift enter. Again, you're hitting shift enter to make that change, and it'll allow for you to um, have two lines. Now, I will say this, if you think that this space is too far, then you should consider writing Google first and then drawings. And that's exactly what I'm about to do. So I want these separate. I want them a little fancier. So Google right here, and then just to save myself some time, I right click, I copy, and then I right click and I paste. And I have two of them, but I want one of them to say drawings, and I'll just type drawings. All right, so now I can overlap it. I can make them different colors. Let me make one of them a different color. And these aren't really bright colors I'm using, but I'm just randomly choosing colors. I can make one a different font than the other. Let me change the font to a little thicker, and so that's that part. All right, so now the insert allows for you to insert images, but of course, since this is a drawing, you cannot insert any videos, but you can also hyperlink URLs. You can add photos from your Google Photo resource. You can pull from the drive, but I would like to search the web again, and I'll pull another image, and I'm going to find a pic, well, or maybe a drawing of a student or students. So I'll just choose this one, pull it over here, and voila, we have somewhat of a little picture. So you can take this Google drawing and you can actually download it, you can share it, you can save it, you can also publish it. That's something that's more level 2, but we'll get to that eventually. And you can insert it. You are able to, once you save it, you can insert the actual drawing that you've created into a Google Doc or even a Google Sheet. You cannot insert it in a Google slide. You can insert it into a Google site. I don't really like this picture I chose, but I will go for it just for time's sake. Okay, well, let's add another one. How about that? So we have a couple of different students. We're diverse. Now see, if you notice this is not a vector image. This is not going to come up transparent, and you'll be able to see how this one in particular, it is transparent. This one's not. So as you're creating that, it will cover up letters. So if you still want to keep it, you'll right click again and bring the order back. So you're taking the picture to the back so it will not overlap with your specific wording. All right, so just let me go ahead and open a Google Doc, just a blank one. And let's see if we can, and I'll name this sample as well. So I know this is the sample that I've chosen. And it's going a little slow today. Okay, sample. And the reason I'm going to let it also be a sample one is because they go together. But I know one's a doc and the other one's a drawing. So now I want to insert it. And I want to insert a drawing. So I can insert my drawing, either a new one, I can create a new one right here on the doc, which can be fairly simple. The reason I choose to create it within Google Drawings because I may want to add it to multiple different resources. So I'm going to pull from the drive. I chose a drawing, and the only drawing that I should have is the, well, I have some other things, but the more recent one is the sample one. I've selected and I am able to insert unlinked or linked source, and that's just something that you can play with as you go depending on if you need it to be linked. Say for example you want it to be linked to a website, or you would like to be linked to the original source for various other reasons. So I'm going to keep it unlinked. I'll insert it, and here it is. And the good part about it, this background is already a white background, so it blends in fairly well. But if you change the background color, let me do that again, change the background color, go into page setup, and I'm going to choose a little different color just to show you, maybe a light blue. Now you'll notice that this one was a PNG or a vector image. This one was not. So it depends on if you're really nitpicky about it. Of course, this also has a square around it, so really just what works for you. But you're able to make beautiful flyers, and you can print those out, or you can use them for your online resources in Google Classroom. If you remember let me go to my Google Classroom. The top portion was created. Honestly, I don't remember if I used Google Drawings or if I used something else, because there's several other ways of creating flyers or even just visuals. And that's all I have. If you have any questions, feel free, and let me go back to the sample one. If you have any questions, anything that looks unfamiliar, of course you can add, shapes and stuff like that. Let me do that. And your shapes you can make it transparent as well. So if you want to put that square around this guy like the other guy, then you can do that. So really quickly, if you have any questions about this, you know how to contact me, or you can ask me the questions throughout the next 2 sessions. I thank you for listening.